Welcome to this interview by Project Cargo Weekly. Our special guest of honor today is Mr. Radoslaw Chmielinski, the shipping director at Chipolbrok, Gdynia in Poland. First of all, Radoslaw, welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much, Bo. Thank you very much for this invitation to this interview. I really appreciate it. I like it very much.
You are very welcome here. As you know, here in Project Cargo Weekly, we do it in a laid-back style, and we try to get our viewers to get to know who we are interviewing. So could you tell our viewers a little bit about your own personal shipping history? How come you are in the position where you are right now?
Okay, yes, I think you know that my shipping career, I would say, is a bit unusual. I will tell you why, but let me start first, from the beginning, from some theoretical preparation. So I graduated from University of Gdańsk. The field, what I studied was economics of the ocean transportation. I did it for 5 years, so it was quite intensive study. And actually, why economics of sea transportation? I lived in Gdynia. I was born here in Gdynia. Gdynia, as you know, is a port city, very close to the sea, very open to the sea. So actually, when I was a small kid, like many of my colleagues, we have been always dreaming to be a seaman, going to the sea, etc., etc. Unfortunately, because of my glasses and that I was short-sighted, so it was impossible for me to join the Maritime Academy. So I decided to do it on economics. Okay, then after graduation, I decided to start first with the IT sector, because it was also developing that time very much in Poland, very young and promising. And then I decided to learn something about the computers, but it was just for the 1 year. Then I did 1 year army, which that time it was obligatory in Poland. So today not, today it's voluntary. At that time it was necessary for me. And then when I was in this army, of course, I had some time to think about my career. And then I thought, no, okay, I graduated from the sea transportation. I always wanted to be with the sea things, So then I started to apply for the job in the companies like connected with the sea, with the ship owners, etc. And then I was lucky to get to Chipolbrok. And it was 1988. And that time I didn't even know, of course, that 88 is a very lucky number in China. And when I started, from this year in Chipolbrok, and some people maybe would not believe, and since that time I'm always with Chipolbrok. So this is more than 30 years now together with this company. Today, for the young people, when you are telling them, that you are with the one company for more than 30 years, it's something very unusual. But it happened to me. And 1992, I moved to Shanghai, to China. And I don't need to tell you, because you've been already at that time also in China, in Shanghai, how fascinating it was that time, changing the whole system, developing, and not only, about, the new buildings in China and Shanghai, but also the mentality of the people, how they were developing with all these things. So big stay for me. I stayed 5 years. Also on the professional side, I learned a lot about China at that time, which was very important for my next years in shipping and to connect it with China. On the private side, also very successful. My son was born there. So with the Chinese, I would say ID, not passport, but ID, which was also very special. And I know that the climates of the Far East, which they are private, so of course you understand. And then on the professional side, when I was in Shanghai, I became shipping director in our head office in Shanghai.
Okay.
So yeah, then it was also a nice promotion for myself, and also it gave me a lot of opportunities to meet really nice people, over there, and to learn a lot. When I was back to Poland after 5 years, then in 2002, so already almost 20 years ago, I became shipping director in Poland. On this position, I'm staying till today. And one interesting story, when I was on the university, and of course not even dreaming about my future professional career and which areas I will be connected to, I got the book birthday gifts from my aunt, and this book was written by Mr. Edward Kajdański, who is very well known in Poland sinologist, you know, living in China for many years. This book was about, you know, the delta of Pearl River and China, and with the dedication from her that she wished me to visit China and its fascinating country once in my life. And of course, that time I didn't know that I will be connected with China for whole of my professional life.
Fantastic. It's a fantastic history, I must say, Radoslaw. And of course, from my own background, I know what you're talking about when you mention China and the fascination from 20, 30 years ago, that would have taken us here in the West 100 years to reach this far. So yes, impressive background that you do have. It also leads me to my next question that I think would really interest our viewers a bit, the history of Chipolbrok. Perhaps you can explain. There are many listeners and viewers and readers of Project Cargo Weekly. They may have seen Chipolbrok or CP. Explain a bit about the history between the two countries. How did your shipping line actually start?
Okay, yes, I think it's good that I have the opportunity to tell a bit something a bit more about, you know, the history and the origin of Chipolbrok, because I think many people from the industry, breakbulk industry, from the Project Cargo, they know Chipolbrok, who we are today, etc. Of course, they know that we are the joint venture between China and Poland, and etc. etc. But I think it's very interesting how it started. Officially, we started in 1951 on 15th of June. So in this year, we are celebrating 70 years of our activity. And we started, the company was set it as Chinese-Polish joint stock shipping company. And it was the agreement between two governments, between the government of Poland, represented by Ministry of the Communication, and People's Republic of China, representing by the Ministry of Shipping in China. Why it was special? We have been the first ship owner in China.
Okay.
51. So this is the first thing. And the second one, which is also very special, we have been the first company in China established with the foreign capital.
Okay.
So it was really unique. We have been even blessed by the Prime Minister of China, Mr. Zhou Enlai. You know, so I think it's special. The funny thing is also, what was the registered capital of our company when we have been established? It was 80 million rubles.
Wow.
At that time. And the ruble has the parity in the gold, pure gold. So that was also something, you know, special. Yes. Our company was divided, you know, with the shares exactly equally 50-50%. So the Chinese side has the 50% and the Polish side as well. The head office was established in Tianjin, and the branch office here in Gdynia. Now I think, you know, it's also quite interesting. Everybody knows us as Chipolbrok, and actually our official name is a bit different because we are shipping company. So why this broke inside? Because our shareholders decided, you know, when the company was established, not to disclose to the public that we are ship owner, that we have the fleet, because as you might know, and our viewers, they might know, in the 50s, the China was under the economic blockade. It was discriminated, you know, by the United Nations, and which was led by Americans. So of course, the China as a country was blocked from the investment.
Right.
So that's why, you know, our shareholders, they didn't want, you know, to disclose, and they established the company as a Chinese-Polish shipbrokers company.
So that's the reason. Okay.
That's the reason. And then the abbreviation from that one, it was Chipolbrok, which was used later on also as a telegraphic. So for many years, we have been outside operating in a shipping, not as a ship owner, but as a broker.
Okay.
The operator, we may say today.
Yes.
So that's also interesting. Is the first management was also very carefully selected. You know, there were top class professionals from the maritime industry.
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe interesting, why Chinese and Polish? Mm-hmm. Actually, China was, of course, at that time looking for the investment in the country. They needed a lot of things. And of course, the majority of these things could be delivered only by the ocean way, by the sea transportation. And they were looking, you know, for the partners in the world, especially in the so-called Eastern Bloc, mm-hmm. Who has the best knowledge and experience. And then they decided to discuss with the Polish government, because they realized that Poland has the really good background and really top class professionals.
Yes.
So yeah. So also, what is interesting, you know, that during establishment they decided that the top management positions will be doubled. They will be duplicated, and actually this is almost since till today. That majority of our posts, we are Chinese Polish. We are sitting where we have quite many Polish people working in China, and at the same time we have the Chinese colleagues working in our Gdynia office. Okay. And also when we establish some companies outside, it is more or less the same model. It is, somebody can say, you know, it is maybe not so modern today, but I can tell you in our model of the company, I think it is really workable, and I think that if we are successfully operating on the market for 70 years with such a model, I think it is still a good one. Well, how we started? We started with the vessels which we got from our shareholders. The Polish government gave us the first vessel. It was Pułaski. Pułaski was 10,000 tonner, which was built in 28. Then later on, we got next 2 vessels. So altogether from Polish side, it was given 3. And from the Chinese side, another 3. So we started with 6. And by end of 51, we got another 4. So we can say after half year of our operations, we got 10 vessels. All of them, they had to be Polish named. They had to have, the crew was mixed. We had the Polish Chinese crew on board, but the masters and some officers, they had to be Polish. That was connected, I said that we could not disclose that there is a Chinese ship owner in this company.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice, I think.
Big politics even then.
Yes, exactly. And of course, when we started, you know, our main port in Poland was Gdynia, and then we delivered all goods to China, and we have been serving the Polish and the Chinese foreign trades, but not only, because also that was a lot of deliveries from the East Germany, from Hungary, from this Czechoslovakia at that time, Romania. But what is also interesting, not only Eastern Bloc, but the goods were delivered from Germany, from Denmark, from Italy, from Belgium, from Sweden as well. And all of them, they were delivered to the airport. And then they were loaded on board of our ships and delivered to China. So I think, you know, it was also, it's important to mention that because of the blockade of China, we could not go directly via strait close to the China sea coast because of the Chiang Kai-shek regime and the opposition, we may say. So actually we had to operate on the specially designed routes. That means that after Singapore, when our ships, they were heading to China, we had first to go far away to the Pacific Ocean and then to turn back to China.
Wow. But that's unbelievable.
And we had 2 incidents, I would say. Also, I think it's interesting to mention that actually 2 of our ships, they were stopped by the Taiwanese Navy. We may say. The first vessel in 53, it was Praca, and the cargo was detained and I mean confiscated, and our crew was detained. They spent quite long time over there, and we have in that time delivered the petrol from Shanghai to Constanța in Romania.
Right.
And another hijack was in 53, 2 years later, when another vessel was also stopped by the Taiwanese. What's next? I mean, 1962 is also an important year in our history, because at that time our head office was moved from Tianjin to Shanghai. Okay. And we got very nice office. I think we met in this office in Shanghai.
We did.
Area, very close to the Peace Hotel. Today, I think it's very nice building as well, but it's already in the hands of somebody else. But in the past, it was owned by the Standard Chartered Bank. Mm-hmm. So very nice office. I stayed 5 years in this office, so I like it very much.
Yes. Fantastic history. I mean, I know that our viewers will be very impressed by this, and also to know a little bit the background, because nowadays everything is quick, and Google it online. Everybody has no time to think of what has preceded how we are and where we are today. So thank you very much for this very interesting history. And if we speed up a little bit to let's say today's times, what can you tell us about the modern day fleet of Chipolbrok? How many vessels, and the type of vessels and lifting capacity and so on, and trade routes? Can you elaborate a little bit about your current, shall we say, standard setup at the moment?
Okay. I think it's worth to mention that during our development over the decades, actually, when we have been always like a multi-purpose operated universal ships. But of course, in the 90s, we have been also doing quite a lot of containers. Mm-hmm. But later on, we decided, to make certain specification and specialization of our operations. And then we thought, that it is actually impossible to combine these two kinds of the operations, container shipments together with the break bulk shipments, because of the different requirements. So then in 90s, we decided that we will go this break bulk and project cargo way.
Okay.
I think it's nice also to say that in 92, actually, we started our liner service from Europe to China, regular shipments, break bulk shipments from Hamburg and Antwerp, because we have been awarded with the contract of Shanghai Metro wagons.
Oh, yeah.
From Hamburg. So actually, we delivered 210 wagons to Shanghai. So some of them, I believe they are even used for today. But this contract was requiring from us regular deliveries. So that's why we decided, okay, every month we'll have the one ship going to China. Then it was also connected with the specialization of our further activities, that we decided to be very much multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Then we continue in this way until the beginning of the century, and actually our milestone was more or less 2003, when we got the first vessel of the new class with the really heavy cranes, 320 tons each. So in the combined system, 640 tons, and the big capacity. So during that time, very modern, multi-purpose, heavy lift ships. And we are operating them till today. We got actually 10 of them in 2003 up to 2008, and then we got another 4 until 2016. So actually, if we speak about today we owned and we operate 14 ships of the more or less the same type. Plus, of course, it is not enough. So then. In respect of our covering the market and the market requirements, and also to serve our customers, we are supporting our operations with the chartering in tonnage.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are supporting quite many ships now at this moment.
I understand. Now it seems you have a strong and a flexible organization. And just to elaborate for our viewers about your main trade routes, of course, I understand from what you have said, also with your history, that it's mainly Europe to Asia and back. But tell us your route, let's say your regular route net now, so our people get a view of how much of the world you cover with your excellent ships. If you can elaborate on that, please.
Yes. As you said very much correctly, of course, traditionally it was from Europe to China and back. That was our main route. But in the meantime, we developed, into the global, the world service provider and operator. So if we look today we are serving all continents, of course, except maybe Antarctica. But yes, but our ships are calling, starting from Europe to Far East, Asia, Middle East, South America, North America, Australia. So really we are everywhere today. But if we speak about our main loops, so actually when we start from Far East, we scheduled our ships in two directions. The first direction is back to Europe via Suez. Yeah. And another is via Pacific. We go to America for the discharging, and then later on to return our ships from America back to Far East. Ships from Europe are returned back to Far East as well. It was already in the meantime we developed, actually round-world services. Yeah. So we could say that we had the eastbound and as well westbound round the world services. So actually in two directions we were going, east and west. So covering, the almost all shipping routes. Right. But like I said, today we are focusing mostly from Far East to America and back, Far East to Europe and back. But also occasionally we are in other continents as well.
Okay, yes, I certainly, I've seen that you do have ships in most places, and they are ideally suited for big quantities and for heavy cargoes. I have a personal question just that comes to mind from my past, knowing a little bit about the CP schedules when I was working as a shipping agent. I recall from my past that you very often called the port of Casablanca. And I was always wondering, why did you always call Casablanca? Was there any particular reason for that, or what was there a special?
Exactly, yes. It special cargo. Was a very important commercial reason. Okay. Because Chipolbrok was awarded with the shipments of the green tea from China to Morocco. And we did it, from 1970 till 2002. So for more than 30 years. I can say that we have been the exclusive carrier of the green tea to Morocco.
Incredible.
And as tea in Morocco and other Arabic countries is a very strategic commodity, I would say.
Yes.
Like sugar as well. Yes. So of course, it was very important for us, and that we have for more than 30 years the regular shipments to Casablanca. Very important market for us. It was the great pity that in the beginning of 2000 it was containerized. Yeah. Once it was containerized, of course, we lost it, for our ships.
Yes, understand. Then another question about your office coverage. Where does, of course, you have a network of, you have your own offices, you also have agents in various places. Where do you have your, let's say, wholly owned offices as Chipolbrok nowadays?
Yes, so as I mentioned, our head office, of course, is in Shanghai, and the branch office is in Gdynia. Our daughter company, which belongs 100% to Chipolbrok, is also our office in Houston, in Texas, operating under the name Chipolbrok America. It is since 2004, so also already a long time ago. It was also connected with the development of our traffic and our shipments to America and from America, and I think it is successful till today. We are the shareholders in companies, in agency companies in Netherlands, together with the local partners, and also in Singapore. This company also exists already like 20 years with us. So we have quite wide coverage. Also in China, we have quite number of the companies starting from our agency via logistic and the manning companies, which are belonging, to Chipolbrok.
Okay, that's really interesting. And of course, how would you say, let's say if we go to today's trade, where are your, I understand where your trade routes are mainly, but where are your main liftings? Let's say size-wise and cargo-wise, where do you lift the most project cargo from Europe out and from Asia out? Is it Germany and Italy that are the biggest markets for you, and conversely from Asia, is it China that's the biggest? Has anything changed? I suppose they are now bigger markets than Poland, China for you, I suppose.
Yes, I think that Europe. Okay, if we talk about Europe, actually everything is streamlined, to the two major ports. I would say it is Antwerp and Hamburg. If we talk about south, it is going to Italy, and in Antwerp we are very often and loading a lot of big stuff and the big projects there, including this heavy lift stuff, and also of course in Italy occasionally it is also happening. And as you said also correctly, in China we are also loading a lot of big projects, but also India is also the market which is important for us, and especially it is important on the import side to India. India is developing a lot nowadays, so they are investing in the nice industrial projects, which are of course connected with the deliveries, and over there. But also we happen, to load the big stuff, big heavy pieces from India to China as well.
Oh, I see.
So actually, yes, I think that today is a bigger globalization of the trades. So actually, it is not very much so selected, like it used to be in the past, that there are only main routes which are connected for the special traffics. Today, I think, that once you have the operator or the contractor, he's trying to secure the deliveries from the many parts of the world, which makes a certain specialization. So very often, once we are awarded with the project, that later on it comes that part of the project is delivered from Europe to somewhere, part of this project is delivered from Far East, some of from India, etc., from Indonesia, etc., etc. It's worldwide today.
Yeah.
So
and
we
I
have
think
to be also flexible in this sense, and to be prepared once to get this project from the forwarders. We have also to show them that we are able to operate in the many markets.
Got it. It's very clear. Now it's you have a good grasp of it. I can certainly hear that. And that leads me to another question. Let's say that I'm a project freight forwarder sitting here in Sweden, and I have an inquiry. Actually, I have a customer sitting in Sweden, let's say, and he has a shipment from Shanghai to Europe. Where should I go to get the rate? Would I contact first? Is Europe office in charge of quoting in Europe, or is it China since it origins there? How do you divide who quotes what? Does each independent agency quote their own rates, or what's your opinion on this?
Yes. So in the past, we have a bit different commercial division, I would say, because our office in Gdynia was responsible, for all this Europeans imports and exports, and like our office in China for the imports and exports from the Far East. But a few years ago, we decided to change this model, and office's responsibilities for the commercial and operating control. And since once you ask me, I have the cargo from China, exports from China to any destination, this is our office in China who is responsible for that. So we can say, in order to make things very clear, once you have the export inquiry from Far East to any destination, you should ask our colleagues in China. Once you have the export cargo from Europe to any destination, you should ask our office in Gdynia.
Clear.
And then, of course, we are coordinating and cooperating between this both offices, of course, on a daily basis and very, very closely. So actually, once even we got, your inquiry in Gdynia office and is connected with the export cargo from China, immediately we are giving this information. Please kindly contact our colleagues in China, or we are passing this information to them for make, you know, this inquiry already operational.
Okay, but that's good, because I know from experience that some forwarders, of course, like to shop around, and you need to have a clear policy so you avoid that. How is your relationship today? There are major shippers around the world. They like to deal with the ship owner directly. There are also forwarders who are in between. How is your policy towards, let's say, freight forwarders, shippers direct? Let's say a freight forwarder and a shipper come to you with an inquiry. You can see that it's the same inquiry. Will you give the same rate for the same inquiry if two different people come to you?
Yes, I think, you know, that's actually what I mentioned today. The very important is the flexibility.
Yeah.
And cargo is king. This is, I think, obvious to everybody.
Yeah.
So we are cooperating with everybody who is coming to us with the cargo.
Okay.
And of course, we have the preferences of our customers. Some of them, like shippers or the producers, they prefer to talk to the shipping lines directly.
Correct.
And of course, we appreciate, we are talking to them, and we are concluding the contracts directly. Once we have the forwarders and they are coming with the contracts, of course, we are talking to them. If they prefer to go via agency network, of course, we appreciate this one, and then we are giving the quotations to our agency network.
Okay.
So actually, our policy is to work with everybody all over the world, because what I said, you know, we would like, you know, to meet the requirements of the specific customer and to give them exactly the tailor cut, you know, the offer for their needs. If you ask me about whether we give the same quotations, of course, we give the same quotations, which of course are depending also on the commissions. Once if you have the broker in between and who is, you know, increasing the commissions, of course, then we are telling him, gentlemen, sorry, but we have this one already directly to, you know, from other sources. And then if you are ready to work with this level of the commission, we are also we're happy to work with you. But in case your commission is higher than others, sorry, we prefer to go to others.
Yeah, no, but
so that's why today we are very much open, you know, to our customers, and any relation is good for us and appreciated. So so everything depends, you know, what customer needs.
Yeah, no, but that's very clear. It's a modern and open-cut attitude that is clear for everyone to understand. And certainly, although you have an enormously long history, one might say you are not stuck in history. You have followed with the times.
Yes, we hope so to do it. You know, we must be updated with our needs. But I can tell you that the history is helping us a lot.
I believe so.
And actually, it is not easy. We are like a marriage, I would say, and with the different mentality, with the different history, with the different approach to the many things, starting from the business and ending with the just normal, ordinary life. But I think that once we are 70 years together, it shows that I think it's a good marriage, that we can have a good understanding of each other.
Well, I can say I'm married now for the 4th time, and I know how.
So you have the experience.
Yes, how difficult divorce can be. So I think it's good for Chipolbrok that you stay together. But Radoslaw, one question that is, of course, also on everyone's mind nowadays: COVID. We can see from the market that some container carriers are very happy. They cannot even take their arms down because they are earning so much now due to COVID. How is the situation for you? Has COVID impacted your liftings, good or bad, overall?
I can tell you that the COVID was the problem for our cargo in the beginning of the epidemic, you know, in China.
Okay.
Because of course China is very big market, you know, so that's why we could see exactly a year ago, it was some problem especially with the exports and the imports. They were decreased. But as everybody can now follow, the Chinese markets in the meantime, you know, develop a lot. And I think today the volumes exporting, especially on the export side from China, they are tremendous. Yeah. You know, and even the container lines, you know, they are fully loaded with the containers. A lot of cargo is also thanks to that coming to our ships, you know, which we are happy about it, you know. So I think, you know, that on the commercial side, the COVID, it is not the problem anymore. For us, we can manage, and we are happy that the flow of the projects and flow of the new contracts is continuing. COVID is for us the problem, especially in terms of the people, because if we start to talk about, you know, the port operations, still we have the examples in some ports, the efficiency on the terminals connected with the stevedoring company and all other companies. They have to make to organize their job in a bit different way, because out of the sudden some people are sent home, you know, because of the COVID issues, you know. So this is something which is making, you know, the problem. And also the problem, I think it's very important problem, is the crew change.
Yeah, of course.
This is the biggest issue for us today, because actually there is not so many places all over the world when the crew can be changed. And you can imagine that the contracts on board of our ships, we would like, you know, to manage our ITF requirements, and of course to have the crew change in a responsible time. But sometimes it is impossible. We have to continue with them to other ports, and at the same time we have our new crew which is waiting to be embarked, and we cannot disembark the old crew. So that makes, you know, for us the problems. Of course, we make a lot of precautions and the special instructions on board of our ships, how to prevent them and how to protect them to get this COVID problems, you know. So this is very much followed by our masters and our crew. They have the daily meetings in this respect. So all the safety measures are taken. But still, of course, it's we are happy. The crew is healthy, crew is safe, but it cannot be changed. So it is. We can also understand it is the problem not only for us as a company, but also we can understand for each particular seaman. It is the personal problem, because the family is waiting for them at homes, and they cannot get the father or any father home or husband home, and at the same time, you know, the others who are staying at home, they would like, you know, to work. For us, they cannot go. This is the problem.
No, I fully understand you. It's also something that's on my mind a lot. My dad is a sea captain, retired. I know how hard it is to be away for that long. So yes, I fully echo your sentiment. It's good that you're doing what you can for your seafarers. Luckily, we have internet and it helps a bit. But at the end of the day, you cannot meet face to face using internet only. So there are some things that we hope will be rectified. I want to say, Radoslaw, really many thanks to you. And I think it's a fantastic, clear and also informative replies you have given during this interview. And I must say here, my final thing also to remark to our viewers here, that I see the background. You have a very nice breakbulk vessel with some renewable cargo on board, correct?
Correct, yes.
Even some yachts. It looks like a typical fully booked CP vessel.
Okay, thank you very much. I can tell you that especially you may see some this windmills equipment. So actually, I may say with the to be proud that really Chipolbrok and we are very much involved in the windmill shipments. Today we are carrying a lot of them all over the world. And we started 2003 with first of our ships with the new generation. And the first shipment I remember very well, because it was very hard to get it on board of our ships. It was delivered to Japan, and the Japanese receivers, they were not convinced that Chipolbrok could do it properly and professionally. But once we convinced them to do it, since that time, we carried hundreds of the projects of windmills all over the world. And also what I'm very much happy today, being the Polish citizen and sitting in Port of Gdynia, we are also delivering now more and more windmill projects to Poland and to Gdynia port. This is also important for us.
Fantastic. Yes, we have to be proud of where we come from. I fully agree with you.
Exactly.
Well done, Radoslaw. Once again, I want to formally thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure, great pleasure to speak to you.
And to all our viewers, listeners, readers from around the world, this was yet another great interview by Project Cargo Weekly. And our special guest of honor today has been Mr. Radoslaw Chmielinski, the shipping director at Chipolbrok in Gdynia, Poland. Stay tuned for more interviews in the weeks to come. Thank you.